Here are some rare examples that still disprove the retarded monkey. I think it's C. 370 AD, Hypatia, a teacher at the Museum of Alexandria, Egypt, is the best known female, can't even read this thing, female philosopher, mathematician, and astronomer in ancient times. Duchess of Newcastle, Margaret Cavendish insists on joining the Royal Society, England Science Society, becoming known as Madget for her fascination with science and academic ways. In one of her many books, she draws distinctions between wit and learning. Ever wonder how they know how far a star is? Or you to think like they know how much the distance the telescope extends the light, so measure by that how much light is extended by the telescope. But here's how it's done. 1912, I can't even read this in this slide. I'll read for you. Henrietta Leavitt, that's a girl's name, is Henriette, and Leavitt, Leavitt, a deaf astronomer working at Harvard, finds a way to calculate inherent brightness of stars, a measure of how much energy they emit by then measuring their apparent brightness visible observed once the light has traveled through space to our planet. Leavitt calculates distance of stars. Other researchers use this procedure to prove that galaxies such as Andromeda are outside the Milky Way. Oh my god, this isn't rare. This is being used in mainstream science. This stupid, retarded monkey. Did you know that genes can jump chromosomes as well? 1951, American geneticist Barbara McCloud presents her discovery of jumping genes on the chromosome of maize plant. Genes that can move around the chromosome. When a jumping gene lands on a certain place on the chromosome, it disrupts the activation of certain traits. McCloud studied the presence of pigment in maize kernels known through the generation as a way of tricking jumping genes. Barbara McCloud. Here's another male scientist who first split the atom. 1938, German physicist Otto Hahn fires neutrons at a piece a piece of uranium and is the first to split its atom. Soon realizes that this nuclear fission reaction reaction produces enormous energy, and that is self-sustaining chain reaction and can be created wherein neutrons that are split off from an atom smashing into another atom, causing it to split. As his experiments are based in part on the work of Lisa Lisa Meitner, Lisa Meitner, Meitner, a female Jewish scientist who fled Germany shortly before Hand's final round experiment. And our girl's name. I know MGTOWs don't believe in epigenetics. Well, I'm not pointing out a female scientist here. Pause. But Darwin wasn't the only one. I said pause. Darwin wasn't the only one. Early theory of evolution. Charles Darwin was not the first to believe that physical characteristics of animals change over time. An early vocal proponent of evolution was French biologist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, but he got the mechanism wrong, or at least according to his book in Mainstream Thought. He thought individual animals acquire characteristics based on needs, on practice and training, and working and using those genes. We didn't know what genes were back then. But it turns out there is more evidence for this. Like, even in mice trained to fear the smell of flowers, the offspring of the males, also who had never smelled the flowers or received the shock, still had the fear of the flowers. You also see this in families. Well, typically the limb proportions, torso, shin, cheekbones, shoulders seem to resemble the father more. I guess sperm being more active cell and nucleus is more exposed. What they don't tell you about cloning is they usually have health problems like delayed development, most common, metabolic disorders, irregular heartbeat, mental retardation. Bones are more prone to breaking, but not so good on healing. Probably wouldn't have all those in one. Most cells would have some epigenetics, mostly based on their position in the body. Oh, and social constructs are actually common in nature. Drones that are actually bigger and can see better than their workers, they just don't. Insects, well, the males really are not produced without sperm, but insects are larval stage and much closer to their embryonic stage. Their bodies actually melt in pupa stage and rebuilt from imaginal disc with the adult gene expression. So I'm guessing ants and bees with parental care can maybe manually stimulate imaginal disc. We know how which role they take in a colony depends on how they're fed during larval stage, even then after the pupa. Ants, when they are taught, are led to their roles with chemical other hormonal signals in elder ants. Drones are just not brought to their jobs. Social constructs are actually more common in nature. Of course, there's a female scientist again who showed that in chimps. Retarded monkey.